What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about Ghostbusters Spirits Unleashed. Now, this isn't going to be like a full review. I haven't experienced everything, but I do have some impressions, and some warnings even, right? Talking about this game after playing it for a little while the day it released. So, I've been a fan generally of IllFonic. For every positive I kind of find in their games, I also find a negative. So, maybe tough love, maybe I'm just too negative, whatever you want to say. Predator Hunting Grounds I thought was a pretty solid game, but did have his weaknesses. And for this game, going in, excited, looked pretty darn solid, and playing it, well, the game is fun, and that's a kind of a blanket statement, right? It's just a fun game. The issue I have is I feel like the fun is going to wear out of this game. Honestly, an issue that Friday the 13th, Predator Hunting Grounds, really all of these kind of games, Dead by Daylight's kind of been the one that hasn't been affected here, is that the game kind of runs out. It runs out of its life, and it just depends on how long the game can go before that happens. And the issue with Ghostbusters is I feel that it's going to be the least amount of time. I really feel like Ghostbusters is going to be kind of born, and then it's going to die very, very shortly after the game comes out. And that's kind of because there's not enough there. Now, the core is maybe one of the stronger cores of any game. As the Ghostbusters, you're going around, you're destroying 3 rifts, right? That's the idea. And then you capture the ghost. That's it. You calm people down, you blast the ghost. You don't have multiple weapons. Actually, the weapons you have is what they give you at the beginning. There's no kind of alternatives. That's it. And as the ghost, now there are different ghosts. As you level up, you'll get to play as different ghosts. But the ghosts generally are the exact same, right? Haunt things, possess things, scare the humans, stay away from the Ghostbusters generally, and reach the haunting meter to 100%. Those are the 2 things. Now, again, for Predator, for Friday the 13th, for Dead by Daylight, I mean, these are all very simple things that the game is built off of. The issue is just, does the game seem like it's built to last? And for Ghostbusters, I just found literally on like the 2nd, 3rd, 4th playthrough as the ghost or as the humans, I just found it's like, all right, well, I just don't think this is going to last beyond a week. Now, hey, I put the money down. I spent the $40, and ultimately that's my decision. And who knows, maybe playing this game, once a week, and you kind of come back to it over time. Again, I do think the core of this game is rather solid. It's just, will it be able to last longer than a few weeks? Friday the 13th, I think, actually lasted a pretty okay length of time. Really, updates to that game killed it, and they couldn't do updates because of the legal stuff. Predator, in my opinion, Predator kind of dropped off rather quickly, but it took a couple weeks. Ghostbusters, I don't know. I really don't know. I do think, the environments are fine. The idea here really doesn't need, the environments to change all that much. So I guess what I'm saying is, if there was only, say, one map, it wouldn't be as big of a deal as it could be for other things. Seeing that, there's still different strategies, right? As the ghost, you gotta know when to haunt things, when to possess things, and there's different strategies that both sides can have. I don't know. I don't really see a future for this game lasting more than just a little bit. And maybe that's because of the weapons for the Ghostbusters. The ghosts, they have very limited, they have their abilities, but there is no alternate abilities. I just don't know if this game has the depth of other games. Obviously, really, at this point, no game has matched the depth of Dead by Daylight, even though Dead by Daylight is arguably one of the most simple of this groups, although that could be debated considering how many killers there are, the different perks for the killers, the different perks for the survivors. So at its core, fixing generators and taking out the survivors, that maybe is the most simple of this entire group, but it's actually the most detailed. And I think you need that. You kind of need that blend. And I really don't think I'm doing that great of a job in this video of putting my finger on what that blend is. But for these games to succeed, I just feel like they need to have a very simple yet complicated structure. Does that make sense? Where you can jump in, what you're doing as both sides are really not that difficult, and they're not that hard to explain to an average person, but then there's a lot of strategy involved, and how you play obviously impacts things. And I just don't really see that all that much in Ghostbusters. But who knows? Maybe that'll change. Maybe as players get better, right? I'm talking about this day 1 after playing it. Maybe after day 4, 5, 6, maybe you'll have people that are a lot better, and so the skill set is different there. And I do think that helps, and that helps all of these games. And another issue I kind of have with this game is awareness. You know, when I made the video about why I'm getting Ghostbusters and why you should too, there were people that said they've never heard of this game. And even when I talk about this game on Twitter or really anywhere else in videos, I'll have people say like, I didn't know the game existed. To be honest, being around the internet around the time of Predator and around the time of Friday the 13th, this is easily the least talked about of that, you know, group of games. Now, obviously, gun media, right, being a big part of Friday the 13th, but even Predator, there was so much more talk regarding Predator that it's not even close than Ghostbusters. So there's not enough awareness about it. Not enough people are talking about it. I don't know how well this game is going to actually sell, right? $40. I don't know how many people are going to do that. And it's what I've kind of been warning at. It could be because of this week. This week has Gotham Knights. This game has Plague Tale, which is an incredible game, and it's on Game Pass. It's got new Tales from the Borderlands. Next week is Bayonetta and Call of Duty. There's a lot of games around this area. Ghostbusters, honestly, could be very forgotten, and I think that could happen. So is it worth it? I think it's worth it if you have a group of friends that you know are going to be playing this game a lot and consistently. But if you're playing it, like me actually, by yourself and, you know, just jump in and jump out, I don't know how long this game is going to stay around. And ultimately, beyond all of that, if there's not enough players for this game, well, it's going to obviously die extremely quickly, right? There needs to be players. The numbers on Twitch are pretty okay, but it's day one. And the numbers are only pretty okay. They're not like spectacular. They're just solid. So we'll see what it's like in a week, 2 weeks, once Pokemon and God of War and all these games come out. Will the game be dead by Christmas? You know, I think the odds are actually pretty high, which, you know, is maybe expected. Maybe it wasn't expected. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure you guys are subscribed. Bell icon turned on so you know all these videos go up. And I hope to see you all on the next one.